Okay, we're live. All right, thanks. The time is 6:32. We'll now call our meeting to order. With us this evening is Craig Schulte, Bill Lois, myself, Michael Gary, Kim Van Beck, Patrick Knight, and Michael Roth. And attorney, let me put on my glasses, which is off the screen anyways.
It's
Gavin. Thank you. Okay. Open forum. I think it's safe to say unless they're in the bathroom, we have no one here for open forum, so we will move on. Next up is our consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions? Opportunity to amend this and or approve it. Otherwise, a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would so move.
Second?
Second.
All right, any other questions or topics? We're all good?
No, that's good.
All right, all in favor of the consent agenda as is?
Aye.
Okay, we're all set. Moving on to new business, we have the hunting and trapping ordinance. And
I'm glad that we have that.
yes, and Mike has obviously more input here for us, but I will say that this came, someone in town brought this to my attention because they did have a problem with some trapping here in city limits with a pet. And then I remembered from my own personal experience, but not in town, but out in the woods, that it's pretty much can be somewhat open season on all of that, and the DNR doesn't really regulate, and they certainly don't in the city. So I asked that we look into this and have something, and then Mike made the great suggestion that we should include hunting in there as well. But there, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, hunting's been, firearms have been prohibited to be discharged in the city for as long as we've had an ordinance. That's not really an issue, but when it comes to hunting with a bow, it's been a gray area that's typically not been tested. But when we've asked the question, it's been, well, we don't really have any language that talks about that. But we do have the authority to set this rule. So it seemed like that would be something that's appropriate to do at the same time. And then Tracy's story about the trapping that we've heard from residents, and that's happened occasionally where pets or other encounters with traps in the city limits, which are really inappropriately placed. But if they're in a public space, it's not clear that it's illegal. And so this ordinance will make that clear. Seems like a perfectly fine thing to do in a county where 92% of the property is public and there's plenty of opportunities for folks to engage in outdoor activities outside the city limits.
Well, I think sometimes too we're so close to that line.
Yeah, that it is a little deceiving.
Yeah,
for
people
some.
may not even realize or whatever. I mean, you can literally, in some instance, walk out your door and think you're in full
Yeah,
woods mode. So I think it makes sense to clarify that.
and there's a lot of activities where if you don't know whether you're in the city limits or not, it's not that big of a deal. When you're hunting and trapping, I think there's a higher level of responsibility that you have to know what's going on, what property you're on, whether you have permission, so.
Well,
Gavin and Chris helped draft this up. They added a few other things that I took out. They were very thorough and I appreciate their work on this. I think this is probably everything and more of what you would have thought it should be, but this is just a draft at this point. If there's stuff in here that doesn't fit or you don't like, it's easy to change. Also, you can take this, complete a first reading tonight, think about it, come back and suggest some edits before next time.
does anyone have any immediate questions or comments?
No, I think this looks like it would be a good thing to have. So I'd make a motion to approve, is that it, 2026 dash something?
It'll be 02.
02.
Okay, would anyone like to second that?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of No, I scrolled off. Resolution.
It's ordinance 2026-02.
2026. Oh wait, I'm dumb. It isn't on the title page. Okay, say it again.
2026-02.
2026-02. Thank you. Aye.
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 All right, very good. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna bring my front page piece of paper again. All right, so now this will be our third year of a look back of what has happened in 2025, a recognition of the staff of our city who makes this all possible. And some of their highlights, but recognizing also the individuals. And this year we're also, Mike will be letting, besides the council's goals, the department heads' goals as well, which is part of the annual review process that we've put into place. And this is our first opportunity to hear what department heads have set for their goals as well. But first off, we're going to go through and make a recognition of all of the people that make all of this very much possible. So, oh, there we go. I found my way around. Okay. I'm going to open up this program. I should actually be able to make this bigger, right, Patrick?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Because,
Is that full screen?
oh, that part of it, but not this part of
You'll
it.
be able to zoom in too.
Oh, perfect, thank you. I see. Looks pretty good, huh? I think I've got most of the screen. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I need to do this.
Oh no. Click those.
Oh, because we're going to use this.
Yeah, and just hit that.
But okay.
Or you can just do entire
Okay,
screen.
no, there it is. Okay.
Click it. Click here.
That one. Okay.
Sure. So now go back over to the document here.
Okay. Hey, there it is. Except, can I? That's just internal. Okay.
And one more thing you can do is if you click here. There we
go. That's okay.
Click the full screen button right there. This.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, right. Got rid of the rest of it. Okay. And the last 2 years I've put this together, and this year I asked Patrick and Alyssa to do this. So I very much appreciate the fact that, along with Kim's help, and I imagine the department heads, right? We have this all put together, and they did a very nice job. So thank you. I'd like to see this continue. So I think it's important that people can continue to do this. And that didn't work. Okay, I have to go this way. Got it. So first of all, recognizing the city's administration staff is Mike Roth, Kim Van Beck, Patrick Knight, and Alyssa Elliott. And their highlights this year, which I think is the highlights for all of us, of course, is our moving into the City Hall and Liquor Store. As they mentioned, 10 years at minimum to get this there, but a lot of the actual work of doing this laid on their lap, and they got it done from picking a lot of the interior and equipment and furniture and different things they needed to make this space work. And then we get to the liquor store, of course, which we'll get to later. They have the same thing. And then just understanding how to work remote and then bringing it in back into this facility. It's a lot of work, and I'm probably not even touching on all of it. They helped a lot with the efforts because number one goal, of course, is their wastewater treatment plant. So there's a lot of work that they did with that, including Mike's visit for the legislative bonding down with the Capitol with our chamber and lobbyists. And then some of the paperwork, of course, behind the scenes that has to be done with that. And then the budget, this was something that had to be planned for many years, but making sure how all this will fit into that along with other future things. And of course, their work on large projects for us having these kinds of real estate developments, I would be safe to say we haven't had this kind of activity in a long time, right? And they had to do a lot of work behind the scenes, and that involves working with a lot of people, from the people trying to put these projects together, our attorneys, as well as listening very careful to the council as we try to understand and learn as well. And we got a lot of help learning about all of this along the way for us. So that was, to me, a lot of work. So thank you. The electric staff, Matt Bronikowski, Jeff Eliason, and Greg Likens. They had a big lift as well with the new city hall. And then, of course, the EV chargers who came and went and are still a work in progress. And then some of the other major work going on around our city, those apartment buildings, North Shore Waste's big work projects. The city gets involved in all of that from the electrical part and others as well. The fire department, Ben Silence, Aaron Milkey, Matt Bronikowski, Chad Lefevre, Justin Rexrud, James Roy, Gideon Silence, James Wallner, Patty Wilson, Matthew Zeller, Gary Nezgoda, Sean Smith, Robin Wells, Matthew Stone, and Kevin Hansen, part of our fire department. Two big pieces that the fire department took to make their work better. Their new washer and dryer, and then they replaced a water heater, what they highlighted, along with adding 2 new firefighters this year. Thanks to all of them. Golf course staff, Paul Jones, Eric Anderson, Paulina Backstrom, John Burnett, Michael Gusky, Michael Groth, Aaron Mayer, Jake Nixdorf, Grant Oberg, Paul Peterson, and Carol Stender. They had a great year at the golf course, growth in membership. The grounds had a good year, a little tough start, but they put a strong emphasis on the quality of the greens, and that resulted in great player satisfaction. And they did increase revenues by 13%, and sometimes it's percentages or dollars, but for me to say 22,000, I think that's pretty good for the size of our golf course in real dollars for them to do for an operation like that, which, just like being a farmer, the weather totally impacts a lot of your ability to succeed. So thanks to the golf crew. Library staff, Electra Bronwyn, Christina Detterman, James Erickson, Andrew Hallberg, Ann Ward, and Elise Wingy, and Elisa Wingy. Library achievements. Well, we are a 5-star library, and there's a lot of stats and data sitting in here, and I think they just highlight why we are a 5-star library. And we serve not just the city, but we serve our entire county with this. They have lots of great programming for all ages, lots for kids, and not just books. Obviously, they have their movies, they bring in entertainment, they brought in quality music events, and they provide a lot of services helping with technology, offering technology for people to utilize. There is so much material available of all sorts of mediums for people to access through that library, either online or in that space, including meeting rooms as well. And several organizations have their meetings there. I've been there, different groups are meeting and doing their thing. But we are very lucky to have such a good library, and it's not luck, it's a lot of hard work from people to do that. And they have continued their safety and security improvements as well. And I should stop for a minute. Did you want to add anything about the library at all, Michael? You're part of the library.
No, that's
Anything on that?
a good summation.
Okay. Liquor store staff, Chris Levine, Lynetta Hoagland, Marjorie Quello, Cheryl Rodwald, Terry Valdivia, Dylan Netland, and Ryan Murray. Liquor store achievements. Well, number one is the fact that they're right next door right now in a brand new building in a super huge space, and they did a lot of that work, and they had to move a lot of inventory back and forth and learn how to use a new space and add a lot of merchandise to it, and a lot more offerings and things they can do there. So it's been quite a year for them. I'm assuming it's going well. It looks fantastic, and I've heard lots of positive comments about that. So that I think what's done to get us in and out of our old building and back in our new building by administration and the liquor store are huge amounts of work and very well done. Park staff, Dave Tierstig, Samantha Wallner, Aaron Posnanovich. Thank you. I do better when I don't see it. Peter Abernathy, Michelle Bjorkman, Don Byholm, Juniper Cefalu, Justin Collin, Jess Dershide, Taylor Everson, Lucas Hoskins, Tanner Hoskins, Jeffrey Iverson, Olga Iverson, Caleb Johnson, Harris Mills, John Silman III, Avery Schoberg, Michael Taylor, and Rich Wojak. Park achievements. Here's an important one. Excellent retention of seasonal staffers. That's important in an operation like that. They did, now that the contracts on the trees and plants on 61 is gone, they've taken over that work and did a great job with that. They've got that new fuel dispenser in the marina, which meant a lot to operations down there and very important. The upgrades they help coordinate with and support for events like Fisherman's Picnic down in our Pear Tree Park was a big effort this year, and the fact that the portable restroom trailer was repurchased was a happy moment.
That's great.
Yeah, and then securing the dollars for some of the work that's needed as we move through on the new park plan. Craig, do you have things you want to add at all?
No.
Yeah.
The securing of the dollars for the new bathhouse and signage is a pretty nice thing.
Yeah.
So
It really is.
we'll be able to place a bathhouse in a proper location that's better for the users of the park.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, it's nice to know you get this plan and you can start actually implementing it.
Yeah, part of our overall master plan.
Yeah. Property maintenance and street department staff Lenny Bloomquist, Rodney Carlson, Christian Deschamps, and Jennifer Kronberg. The City Streets group was obviously also very incremental in getting us back into this new building, and they also had to change their systems and routines and whatnot to learn how to work within this building, so big lift for them as well. They did some deferred maintenance during some of this. They also were able to maintain consistent service levels across all of their other work as well on what was a really big year of a lot of kind of disruption while all of this took place till we could make this feel like home again. So very much appreciated. And as you can see from the pictures, they had things like helping the liquor store become like noticeable and really there. Sustainability staff, there's Shane Steele all by himself doing the one-man job and doing it well. Shane's piece included some grant work like the co-op pond back over there behind the co-op, not the pond in front of the co-op, let's be clear here. This is the pond on the lake side. I think there might have been a picnic table by it, maybe. But that's good work, and it was going on for most of the winter. They stopped, didn't they, for a little while? Yeah, but they
were
went,
out there a long time, yeah.
yeah, pretty late into that, so that should, I think, is still on track. We got through Shane's help, we got the grant to start working on plans with trees and vegetation. We have a tree board, and so now we have a tree management plan or urban forest management plan that we still have to sign off on or whatever as a council group. But Shane's been leading that effort and running the tree board. And then the other piece, which is really cool, I think, is this future planning about utility distribution systems. That's a neat way for us to really do some thinking about what will we need in the future. And we are seeing some growth. And what does that mean? And just changes in habits of what people, what are we using electricity for? Do we see a decrease in fuel oil or propane or whatever it is that way, or a car needs change? It's all of that, right? Any increase to changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we haven't firmed up about it yet, but
Okay.
that's the gist of it. It's
Yeah.
really quite a big project, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's really nice. We're going to have that help and guidance to think through some of those things. We wouldn't have capacity otherwise. Wastewater and water plant and wastewater plant staff: Scott Warner, Al Shaughnessy, and Zach Brooks. We welcome Scott in, and Scott went right to work. They've done quite a bit of refurbishing of the water treatment plant. We all had our tour of that this year, including the roof, the filter rehab, pump replacement, and chemical systems over at the wastewater treatment plant. There's also some operating procedural updates, and that's the chemical that
It's
you
one of
talked
the
about,
chemicals they use to, yeah.
and changing on that. And then they did do some GPS work on systems, right? On that, so that was cool. And then it's nice to see upgraded licenses for staff as well. And there's lots of little minor things, because if you read the weekly updates, Scott always had pictures of things he was busy with between those two systems all the time. But those are the highlights, so thank them for that. City Council, I think for us, it was the fact that of all the behind the scenes to say, yes, we want this to happen, and all of you and all, everyone that made it actually happen. I think welcoming our community into this space. All the organizations and people who are now able to use this space, not just us, and the positivity of it all. It's been really great, I think, for us as a council to say we've been able to make the decisions that helped make this all happen and made it go forward. Obviously, budgeting and getting the contractors in, but the architectural plan, just all the other stuff that has to be done is the really hard work. But it also means someone has to support that it even happens. So I'm really happy that our council moved that forward. And then
It's hard work to say yes to a project like that. You did hard work too.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of courage.
there's many conversations with different groups of people too over the years. So yeah. And then these housing developments, that's taken a lot of our conversation. For me, it's been huge learnings, all good. Now watch it all drop off. That's the way things happen.
No.
But we have 3 projects that are in process because of our work, and then the other piece was all the important steps that the council took to get us further on the wastewater treatment plant. So by signing off to join with the Cook County Chamber and their lobbyists, then that afforded an easier path for Mike to go with them last year and make that presence and really speak for our community that way. And then that lent us those steps so that we were able to, in our new facility, welcome in both of the bonding groups to talk about it and show them, and several of us, we walked over there with them and show them the wastewater treatment plant and received very positive feedback from that. And I just think it sort of started to open up the doors on a lot of that. It was still a lot of hard work. We set up our discounts and donations policy for some clarity there, got that in writing. And then, our annual review process is a work in progress, and it moves along a little bit each year. But the big piece this year was transitioning to a market and merit-based compensation program, which took a lot of work from our HR consultant and Mike to put all that, because those are numbers. And we spent a lot of time even just getting the comparables, what comparables we would be working with, and then we're not done but revisiting all the job descriptions, and what are we, 75%? Is that what we figured?
Yeah.
Done on that. So there's a lot of background work to get anything like this work. So those are my highlights. Does anyone else have something I may have missed from the council as a highlight? Okay. And then just very quickly, our goals, wastewater, and they aren't really anything new, but wastewater treatment plant funding, working with our capital improvement plan and infrastructure, and then we will continue to always be focused on communications, whether it be internal or with the public. I think that's hugely important all the way around. You can't under communicate, or over. You can under, but you can't over communicate. And thanks to everyone on the council for all the work that you do. So, and thanks to our city staff. 2025 year is done. It went well. It was a big year.
Yeah.
Very big year. So, but now you're ready to look ahead. So, Mike, it's your turn.
You want to take a little break, or should I just jump right into another presentation?
Yeah, let me get out of your way here. Did I stop sharing? I think I did. Nope, I didn't.
You did.
Okay, thank you. I think these things are important because it's too easy to forget all the stuff that happened. Once it's over with, in the moment it feels like a lot, but then you kind of like whatever and you move on. So it's nice to take a pause and recognize it all. You all set, Mike?
I'm all set.
Cool.
Here it is.
As Tracy said, these are the goals that are on our department heads to-do list. For 2026, I think you'll notice that, like your goals, a lot of these are things that are going to come up every year. They're just part of what we're trying to do. And they exist at different levels, and there's different amounts on people's lists. There's no magic to that. It's probably nothing in here that'll be a surprise to you. We'll just take a quick review of these. We've got the Parks Department. They have a nice measurement with their Google review rating, and they're maintaining a 4.5 star or better rating on Google for the campground and the marina, which they do. Minimize accidents and injuries from staff by continuing to keep workplace safety top of mind. Minimize 0 would be the goal we're shooting for. It's hard to do with the staff as big as that and with all the things they do, but they do a great job focusing on it. Meet and exceed 2026 budget revenue projections, keep expense projections within or under budget. Yeah, there's always that one. Move forward with the signage and bathhouse construction. Successful public engagement in the master plan and Coast Guard Point, including Boulder Park. So this is one that'll show up in multiple departments because we're definitely going to need multiple departments' help to pull off a project that big. Create a succession plan for Gunflint Hills Golf Course. Nothing happening imminent, but it's always good to look into the future. translate the priorities within the Rec Park Master Plan into a department capital improvement plan. So this type of theme, again, is the council's goals translating down into department goals. They've had capital improvement goals in a number of their departments for a few years now, as has also been your goal. For the library, develop training plans and provide coaching to employees. They have a lot of active training happening in the library. This is more of just organizing and being able to communicate it. And implement a team building program. The team is coming together very nicely right now. They've put a lot of work into it in the past few years and like it to be real positive this year. Prioritize new strategic plan areas. The library's had a lot of larger issues show up outside of their control that they've had to deal with, and if we get a break right now, which it seems like we might, it's time to look back at the work they've done with the library board at some of the strategic planning initiatives and reprioritize those, which is exciting. Water wastewater department, AMI install. This is our advanced metering infrastructure, the meters that we can communicate with two ways, and they allow us to collect a lot of data and really manage our system in a much better way. The meters for the water are not fully completed in the install, and we're putting a plan to finish that installation. Water loss improvement. The water system, we try to keep everything inside the pipes, and the wastewater system, we try to keep everything outside the pipes that doesn't belong. There's always water that's escaping our system in some places, and the water loss improvement's going to focus on valve and hydrant repairs this year. Capital improvement plan development, create a 5-year plan for the water treatment plant improvements and for distribution collection system improvements. So we already have a list of improvements that we intend to do for the water plant. We already have talked about improvements we want to do in the distribution and collection systems, but we need to translate that into a achievable schedule in the next 5 years. That's the plan here. And then GIS, continued system digital data collection. We were notified of a grant recently that's going to really help with this. The focus of that grant is on the wastewater system, which is also our focus when it comes to mapping. But with Scott and his staff have been out collecting GIS information, GPSing the actual components of the system in 2025, and we'll continue that in 2026. Noticeably absent from this list is any talk of the wastewater plant. It's really not in their department's plan right now. It's in mine and yours. And when it comes back to become a real project, then we'll put it back in their plan. Property maintenance department, create a maintenance PM schedule for the new City Hall liquor store. They already really have this started, but we're continuing to learn about the building. And this is still our first time through the seasons with the building. So this is something that's going to stay on the list until we've had a full year in the building and know what to expect. And redevelop the capital improvement plan for the street assets. Communications department, if such a thing still exists in 2026, of course it will. Just not sure who's going to be doing it quite yet. Communications have been focusing on internal records keeping as well, because a lot of what we're trying to communicate is the data that we already have. We digitized it all when we moved out of this building, and we really need to find a way to access and organize some of that data and manage it beyond just having it digitized and available. Help craft and run Coast Guard Point public visioning. Create strategy for more communication content. And publicize the communication plan. So not just have one, but be able to show people what it is. In the administration department, this is my goals from you as well as me. Complete wastewater plant renovation. Of course, that's not a 2026 item, but that's what we're aiming for. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do this year is maintain regular advocacy and attention on the plant. We've made a lot of progress. We need to stay on top of all those places we've made progress, and we need to find some more places where we can make progress to make this happen, but I'm pretty excited about what we're gonna be able to accomplish this year. Revise the city's capital improvement plan. You've seen all the other departments work on this. There's going to be an overarching organization around it as well. Digitizing our existing infrastructure knowledge and then using that mapping to help plan residential development with the planning commission and the city council. So a lot of the work of creating those maps is gonna be done by other departments. We're gonna be some of the first users of it. And those conversations have already started. The planning commission's already begun talking about this. And now we have some realistic ideas of how we might even accomplish putting those maps together at a really high quality. And then create that community vision master plan for Coast Guard, Artist Point. I've already started talking to prospective vendors that can help us with some of the work, putting some ideas for scopes together. So you expect to see that in the next few months come across council meetings where we'll talk about what the scope might look like, what you want that strategy to include, what you want it to achieve, and how we might get it done in 2026.
Any grants for that?
And yeah, for sure, we'll be looking for grants for that. Liquor department, develop a marketing plan, which is bringing together efforts that we started but we haven't finished. We've got website content, social media marketing, merchandising, all these things are in progress right now. They have to come together as a plan that we can share, and you're the target audience for this right now, City Council, to share the plan, but really it's to be able to explain it to anyone, and you're just the lucky ones that we're gonna start with. And increase net revenues. Develop an approach to increase net revenues, including regular monitoring and reporting of the results. So we both want to focus on the financial performance and our ability to talk to you about it. Finance department, they automate some more administrative processes. We've begun some of that work with some of the HR timesheets and access to forms and things like that. We'd like to keep going on that. We're not sure yet which ones we'll take up, but there's a lot of administrative processes that require data entry and other tasks that may be able to be automated, and we're looking for some relief on that, so we'll be focusing there. And coordinate the CIP update. So this is where all the department's efforts will come together to make sure that we're making progress on it. Those are our goals in the finance
The
department.
CIP updates.
Capital improvement plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It actually means something different in different departments, so that's actually a good question.
Okay.
That is what you will find in each of our department heads' annual reviews for their goals for 2026 in their departments.
Thank you.
Alright.
It's nice, nice to have that out there. All right, so now we're fully into 2026. Just wrapped her up last year. Moving on to, we're going to have the second reading for ordinance 2026-01, the fee schedule from last meeting. And I'm guessing that'll be about page 40. No?
It's the last 2 pages in the
Oh,
packet.
thank
And I would
you.
just make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-01.
Anyone like to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, any further questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, and with that, all in favor of ordinance 2026-01? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, very good. Thanks for doing all that, Mike. All right, that here again takes us to the end of our official program. So, administrator report.
Yeah, let me start with an update on the Heights. Most of the work that was included in our development agreement with them is complete. In the development agreement, we have the ability to return or reduce the amount of financial security that they're providing based on the progress that they're making. Up to 90% of it can be reduced by us until we keep the last 10 until all the work is done. In this case, they're planning on using their financial security also to provide the warranty, which means the warranty requirement is for 25% of it. The amount they've provided is $113,875, and so we're going to be reducing that amount by 75%. So reducing it by $85,406.25, and retaining that last 25% to serve as both the 10% to cover until all the work is done, and then it will switch over to provide the warranty after that. So this is great. This is a development agreement that has functioned the way that we intended it to, that we've been able to move through relatively quickly, and then we can provide some financial relief for them as soon as we can. So that's a quick update there. More to come for them. We were hoping to also talk about the license agreement for the stormwater pond, which is on our property, but that they're building and serving their property.
Right.
So this is a concept that we've gone over and agreed to, but we haven't set up the actual rules about it. They're not complicated.
Right, can you remind me where it is located again?
It's north and slightly east of their
Okay.
parcel, and it's a piece of, it's a remnant of a plat that was at the bottom of a section and ended up being too small to build on, and also wasn't attached to water and sewer, and so was tax forfeited at some point,
Okay.
and then transferred to the city's ownership to use for this purpose by the county. It's one of the things that you can do with tax forfeited property is use it for stormwater management.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, we talked a little bit about who's doing the communication work. I don't know if there's been a public announcement of this, but our communications director has submitted his resignation, as you all know. It's a horrible, horrible day for all of us, except of course we're really happy for Patrick and wish him the best as he moves on to, I'm sure they're gonna be bigger and better and at least different things. He's not leaving the community, which is good because he's a good guy to have around, and we'll probably need to call him from time to time. So you've all been informed of this, and I appreciate helping me think through what the next steps are with some questions that I asked of you, just to let you know where we're at in that process. I've also got that same feedback from the department heads. I'm incorporating that all together into a little matrix so that we make sure we know what all of the functions and tasks are that we really need to have continue right now, and then which ones we can think about how we want to proceed in the future. And proceed in the future will either mean some of those tasks are going to be taken up by existing staff. Some of those tasks we might look to the free market for purchasing expertise elsewhere. Some of those tasks might be repurposed into an updated job description of a person that will replace Patrick. And some of those, we also want to know like what else we might need to add to that list. So as you've already said, you want to keep communications, both internal and external, high on your priority list. It'll stay high on ours as we're thinking about this question. But one of the possibilities is that we add staff in other areas to free up some of our existing staff's ability to do some of this work. So it's not clear yet how we're going to proceed. I think in the next few weeks we'll have a few proposal strategies that we'll bring back and talk to you about.
Okay.
And I think that'll do it for me.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah, we had a meeting of the ARDC in January is when we elect any new officers that have come up. And we did that. We had a long-term accountant that we had been using who retired. And so they are now hired a public accounting firm for the moment to do the accounting for them. So that was something we had food as well. One of the interesting things that came up is they have their revolving loan fund that they use, you know, to help mostly with business projects, but what they're actually almost always with building projects or business projects, what they want to look at doing building projects and seeing what they can do there, because it's people haven't been hitting them up as much, and it's a very full fund right now. So like, we got money and people need housing, so let's see what we can do within the rules that they have. So that's
Wow.
kind of exciting. They're also going to be doing their comprehensive economic development strategy survey, and so they're going to come to every county in the Arrowhead region and you know, just do some surveys, figure out what's going on, what's working well, where people need more support, more help, that kind of thing. So they'll be doing that this spring. I think this is when they're going to start that. And that was the meeting.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's some big stuff though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I just, well, and the one thing that came out too is they were talking about the CARES funds that had flowed through and just how people just paid them back. You know, like it worked like it was intended to do. Like money came through, money went out to businesses, businesses paid it back. It's great.
that is good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly about that. Cool, okay. Had a North Shore Management Board meeting. I'm going to have one more for a special work session because there's no sense bringing Ben into that. And then I'll turn that over. And then the EDA will start interviewing next week for the EDA director. So yeah.
I had Arrowhead Animal Rescue on 15th, I think it was, so one day after our last council meeting. They kind of wrapped up 2025 recap, kind of covered their finances and their standing, but their biggest thing that they want to know is where do they stand in the process of getting their building better defined and functioning. So. And I've talked to Michael a little bit about that behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I know you're busy working on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've handed off all of their contact that they've had with contractors to us, so it's in our hands at this point.
And right now it doesn't feel like building season out there.
Yeah.
Hey Greg.
Hello. Yes, I had a meeting, Parks and Trail meeting yesterday. On the agenda, we did touch bases on the Sawtooth Bluff next steps with Marais, and I think they've already, you guys are having a meeting on that already, Tracy and Mike, on February 3rd with the city and HKGI. Other issues that they covered at the meeting, pincushion, Ski and Run Club is requesting an avenue to use so that they can get some equipment to help maintain the trail that's up there. So they'll be working with them to get that accomplished. The land that you've probably heard about that's private on the bluff to the far west has a signed purchase agreement on it now. The county is buying that. Or not the well, it's a nonprofit. They're creating a nonprofit that it's going into. So it'll be turned over to eventually not to be developed, I guess, is the goal on that. Anyway, that is in the process.
That's good to know because there's lots of.
There was a lot of, there'll be an article in the paper, I'm sure, about that. The technical parts of that whole thing. Our next meeting is February 24th, and we may have it out in Grand Portage, just to change it up a little bit, to bring them into the other part of our county, which also takes care of trails and parks too. So that's kind of what we're doing with our next meeting. What else? I think that's about everything I have on that. Yeah, so you guys will be having a meeting with,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Yeah.
relatively soon, right,
Oh, it is already.
to discuss whatever the direction is
Yeah,
gonna go, the contract.
I think our goal is to get them to come to your council meeting and talk to you about it. So,
Yeah.
and with a proposal. So we'll just help them get that clarified so that they can come here with an ask.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is all I have.
Great, thank you. I do want to mention, if you looked in the newspaper last week, there was a well-written article on our water treatment plant and efforts that we're making with it. And I think we decided it was probably
Some spectacular artificial
AI.
intelligence. Well, they didn't put a byline on it. I would have taken credit for it if it was mine. It was nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So there's some beginning of communications on that. With
So
water
we're
treatment
replacing
plant. Did I
Patrick
say
with AI?
wastewater again? Pardon?
We're replacing Patrick with AI. That's the plan.
You didn't
Well,
even notice,
Patrick,
Patrick?
it's coming for everybody.
So
We have-
beginning of
We haven't accepted his resignation yet, though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Do we have
So
to?
we should,
I
We
mean,
don't have to.
I think that's kind of a silly ritual myself, because if we had a choice, we'd say no.
Right.
just kidding, Patrick.
Well, and so there we are. We are all complete for the evening. Thanks, everyone.
Well, before we go, I just wanted to say, Ed Bolstead passed away last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a long time mentor of mine here.
Yeah, because he was mayor. Was he on council for a long time?
He was the acting mayor when I showed up, because the actual mayor had left town after voting to hire me, and then left town. Yeah. But yeah, I was on council a long time, on PUC a long time.
Okay.
Did a lot for us. Did a lot for me. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very. Our condolences to Kathy and the rest of his family, for sure. So, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. All right. Well, we go into the cold.